Good morning, friends. Today we shall start our new bit, that is structure, classification, and properties of the proteins. We know that the introduction about that the protein. So, protein are the polymers of amino acids, monomers. Amino acids are linked together to form a chain. It is called as peptide chain. One or more amino acids they have containing this chain, that is called as a polypeptide chain. Protein it is a macromolecules composed of one or more polypeptide chains possessing characteristics of the amino acid sequence, and it is a polymers of the amino acids. After the metabolism, this protein is get converted into the amino acids, and number of amino acids they have collecting it forms the proteins. So protein is derived from the Greek word that is proteino. It is a primary or holding first place. So that's why the term was first proposed by the Brazilians. The protein it is an essential constituent of the living cells. Protein makes up the 12% of the protoplasm, and they are nothing but called as the body builders. It contains the carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and sometimes the sulfur. They are constructed largely of the amino acids, and it is obtained both plants and animal, that is sources like the milk, egg, meat, fish, liver, in plants like pulses, nuts, and the cereal foods. It is nothing but sources of that the proteins. Then the structure of protein. When we see about the structure of proteins, it is nothing but the polypeptide chain, and its name according to the number of amino acids residues. That is one or more number of amino acids they have contained this polypeptide chain. On the basis of there is a name of that the proteins. The dipeptides, when it has contains the two amino acid residues, means the chain it has contains the two amino acids molecules, it is called as the dipeptide. Tripeptide it has contains three amino acids or the monomers, it is nothing but called as the tripeptide. The oligopeptides means and it is made up of less than 10 amino acids. Means that is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or the 10 or below the 10 amino acids it is called as the oligopeptide. The polypeptide it has more than the 10 amino acid it has containing the polypeptide chain, it is called as the polypeptide. Now the classification of proteins. On the basis of their structure of protein, they are classified into the three categories. That is, first one is the simple protein, second one it is the conjugated protein, and third one it is the derived proteins. These are three types of proteins on the basis of their structure. So first of all, that what is the simple protein? The simple proteins on hydrolysis yield amino acids. The simple proteins are further classified on the basis of decreasing solubility. They are the seven classes. First one is the albumins. It is soluble in water. They are coagulated by the heat. It is widely distributed into the both plant and animals. For example, that is egg white, blood serum albumin, soybean albumin, white lactal albumin of a milk. Then globulins. It is insoluble in water. Example, plasma globulin, serum globulin, myosin in muscles, and elastin in hemsplit. Then third one is the glutenils. They are found in the seeds of cereal of food. It is insoluble in water. They are coagulated by the heat. Example, that is glutamine in wheat or arginine in a rice. This is the example. Prolamines. They are found in seed grains, 70 to 80% soluble in ethyl alcohol. Example, zein from maize, gliadin in wheat, hardin, that is a barley. Then albunoids. These are insoluble in water. Example, that is creatine in hairs, feathers, nails, horns, the skin, bones, and the fibrous in silk. Then histone. It is soluble in water. They are not coagulated by heat. They are occurs in part of nucleoprotein as a histidine and the arginine. Then protamines. It is soluble in water. They are not coagulated by heat. They contains large quantities of arginine. It is found in nuclei of mature sperms of salmon as salamine, clopin as herring, and strugen from sternine. So these are the example of that the protamines, and it is nothing but called as the simple proteins. Next one, the conjugated proteins. It is a protein. The protein are united with the non-protein substances. It is called as the conjugated proteins. Conjugated proteins, it is nothing but the combination of proteins with other substance. That is called as the conjugated proteins. The non-protein substance are linked with the protein are called the prosthetic group of the protein. It is named as the prosthetic group. The conjugated proteins are further divided on the basis of the prosthetic groups. They are as follows: glycoproteins or the mucoproteins. Means protein, it is combines with the glycogen. That is called as the glycoprotein or the mucoproteins. So they are the simple proteins are combined with carbohydrate on hydrolysis. They yield amino sugars. Example, that is mucin in saliva, egg albumin, serum albumin, and serum globulins. Second one, it is the phosphoproteins. The proteins combines with the prosthetic group of the phosphoric acid. Means phosphoric acid, it is the prosthetic group. It is combines with the protein. That is example, casein in a milk and white line into the egg yolk. Then third one is the lipoproteins. Lipid, it combines with the protein. It is called as the lipoprotein, and this lipid, it is nothing but called as the prosthetic group of the proteins. It is formed by the combination of simple proteins with the lipid. It is located in the brain, blood plasma, and the milk. The nucleoprotein. It is contains nucleic acid as a prosthetic group. Example, these proteins are protamines or histones, the chromatin material composed of the nucleoproteins. And next one is the chromoproteins. These are the simple proteins. It is combines with the metallic prosthetic group, which gives color to the proteins. Means that is color hitting cells, that is chromoproteins. Example, that is hemoglobin, hemomycin, and flavoprotein, etc. So this is nothing but the example of the conjugated proteins. Now third one is the derived proteins. The derived proteins are the intermediate product. They are derived actually from the some previously existing protein, either by its hydrolysis on by coagulation. So derived proteins are of two types. One is the meta proteins. So what is meant by the meta proteins? It is derived from by the hydrolysis of complex protein. That is the action of digestive enzymes, acid or alkalis. They may be acid metaprotein, alkali metaprotein, proteases, or albuminaceous, peptone, and the peptides. These are nothing but the complex protein or the hydrolysis of complex protein. They form the products. This product it is called as the meta proteins. Then coagulated proteins. The coagulated proteins are denatured protein are formed when ordinary proteins are the heated. Example, coagulation of the egg white. And this coagulation of egg white, it is the example of the coagulated proteins, or it is nothing but called as the derived proteins. Now the properties of protein. You know that first properties of that protein, you know that all proteins are not enzymes, but all enzymes are the proteins. So this some of the proteins they are acting as a catalyst or acting as a enzymes for the biochemical reactions. Almost all biochemical reactions are catalyzed by the enzymes. The fact that all enzymes are nothing but the proteins. Then it is one of the properties of that protein, that is a transport. It is transport ion and small molecules, that is hemoglobin, myoglobin, transferrin, that is a membrane proteins. Then another one function of that protein, it is called as the storage. It is one of the property. Certain protein functions as a storage molecules, that is example, ferrin in stored in liver, seeds store nutrient proteins, example wheat, corn, and the rice. Nutrients. Certain proteins as acting as nutrients, that is egg contain albumin and milk contain the casein. It is nothing but the proteins. Next one is the construction and the movement. The contractions of the muscles, it need two fibrous proteins called and the actin and the myosin. And actin and the myosin, they are present into the muscles. It is need for the action, that is the contraction and the relaxation of the muscle fiber. Then mechanical supports. Many proteins serve as a supporting filaments. Example, collagen, major component cartilage and leather. Creatine, that is components of the nail, hairs and the feathers. So this is nothing but the mechanical support of the organisms or the animals. Blood clotting is brought about by the blood clotting, that is protein, that is fibrinogen and thrombin. It is present into the blood clotting. Then transport of nerve impulse. You know that the neurotransmitter, the protein as a acetylcholine. This acetylcholine it has presence into the synapse. So the nerve impulse is transmitted through the synapse with the help of receptor protein as called as the acetylcholine. Then hormonal action. You know that many hormones are the proteins. Example, that is the insulin, that is the growth hormone. Number of hormones they have basically presents the protein, and it has need for the hormonal action, or it is nothing but the properties of the proteins. Thank you. Welcome your suggestions and the questions.